Hi, I'm Hannah Gower and I'm a social media strategist for social chemistry. I also have our social media specialist with me, Anna Gervais. She is going to give us some information on why businesses should be choosing social and really integrating it into their digital marketing strategy. Anna has worked with a pretty big range of brands, anything from Ford through to Jack Daniels, Kellogg's, and has also worked with some pretty big marketing agencies as well. Anna's going to hopefully answer some of the questions either you may have or maybe something that I'm going to give her that I've heard from our clients in regards to what it is they should be doing with their social media and I guess what they should be expecting as well. Would that be right, Anna?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Anna, I find that when I'm talking to my clients that a lot of them feel that they're doing social media well because they've got a ton of followers or they've got lots of likes. And I've heard you say, though, that brands sort of need to forget about just getting the followers. Why is it that you say that?
I think when we ask a lot of, when I'm talking to clients and they say to me, yeah, we're doing really well with Facebook, we're getting really good returns. And if I dig a little bit deeper and ask them what they mean, they're normally basing it on how many likes they have versus how many likes their competitors have. And that's really easy. It's not a mistake. I think it's just something not to worry so much about. Like, I know I won't mention any names, but we were talking about a client earlier who has a lot of fans. However, they were getting almost no engagement. So just by having, let's say, 20,000 Facebook fans, if none of them are commenting, you're getting any engagement from any of them, if none of them are ever going through to your website, it's just for show. I do agree there is credibility in having a lot of fans. There is that first impression that you get when you go to someone's page, if you weren't already aware of them. But the reality is, from a brand wanting to get, financial returns, like business returns from if it's Facebook, for example, and same with Twitter. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. It doesn't matter how many fans you have. What you should be worrying about is, are you actually getting any returns from it? So that's what I mean when I'm saying to people, stop worrying or stop judging yourself or comparing yourself with your competitors. They may have far more fans than you, but not getting any sales from their fans. So it's actually about what engagement you're getting. Are you actually getting returns from social media?
Anna, we find that a lot of our clients either currently or in the past have engaged in email marketing quite heavily. They may have small to medium or even large databases, and they tend to see quite good conversion rates from that and haven't seen similar results from social. So when an ultimate goal for a client is sales, they really want to generate those sales, why is it that they should be engaging in social? How is it going to support that activity?
Yeah, social should not be off by itself, in the same way that email marketing also doesn't work very well if your website's not going to convert if you do get a click.
Yeah.
There are some similarities between social and email marketing. For me, one of the key things about social is it's on what I call leased land. Email marketing is owned land. So on Facebook, you don't own your fans. Just because they've liked your page, we already know you're not going to, pretty much not going to reach all of your fans. But just because you're on Facebook, if you are breaking Facebook's rules, and admittedly they have eased off a little bit on it with the common things that fans were losing their pages over in the past, but there are still rules there that you could break. So even if you are obeying all the rules, at the end of the day, it's not your page, they're not your fans. At least with email marketing, one of the key things is moving your fans into your email database so they're on owned land. Once you've got them though, even email, you've still got an open rate of only 20 to 30%, hopefully. So that's good though, right? That's above the average Facebook, which is well below 10% of your fans will see it. I guess one of the differences with email is, despite your open rate maybe being at, let's say, 20%, your click-through rate still might only be 1 or 2%. So with email, you do get those numbers. You do get to reach that one person that's on your email database. But a key difference between email and social is that once I send you an email, I've just sent it to you. If you see an update and you click on the update, look at a photo or add a comment or share, suddenly I could get through to your 258 friends. So social and email aren't separate things. What I like to do is convert my fans onto my email database. So I'm moving them off leased land and onto owned land. You should be getting high open rates and high click-through rates on email, but you haven't got the ability. I can't reach your friends through having you on my email database. So they do work together. They are an integrated thing. They don't sit separately. Yeah.
So in the Australian market, is there a key social media channel that businesses or brands should be investing in?
Yeah, the simple answer is Facebook. It's probably the expected answer as well, but if you have a look at the numbers, 65% of Australians who are online are on social media, 95% of them are on Facebook.
Okay, so brands should really be definitely investing in Facebook. Should they also be covering all the other channels as well?
It's very tempting to, and I did see a lot of that happening in 2013 because Pinterest and Instagram, for example, were starting to take off to a higher level. And competitors were starting to do that. You know yourself, we saw a lot of clients starting to sort of spread themselves a little bit too thin and going, oh, yes, we're doing Pinterest now. Oh, and we're doing Instagram. And, oh, yes, we've got the blog, which is great, by the way. And, oh, yes, and Twitter. Oh, and Facebook. But there really is a lot of, and this year I'm seeing a lot more of consolidation coming back and really wanting to focus on Facebook, for example, getting Facebook right and doing it properly and not just repeating what you're doing across all channels.
And do you find that different channels work better depending on what people are selling, for example?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. For example, we were talking about Pinterest the other day, which I know you're a fan of as well. So it is very much travel, fashion, food. So it becomes a bit of a no-brainer. Pinterest might be a great opportunity for a company that is maybe on the fashion side of things, for example, especially if they have got e-commerce. And the beauty as well of a channel like that is how long your content lasts. So it's a mixture of your audience, whether you're the right match for that audience, and also how much time you've actually got to put into social media. Pinterest, one pin actually can have a long life. It can last weeks or months. Facebook, for example, you've got the user base there. That's far more broad, I would say. There isn't necessarily a wrong there. You're not going to get as good a returns if you sell to other businesses on Facebook than you will on a channel like LinkedIn, for example. But when it comes to selling to consumers, Facebook will probably be the number one for everybody, and then it's about what your number two is. Is it going to be Twitter? Is it going to be Pinterest? Is it going to be Instagram? And that really depends on information like your target audience, male versus female, what age group you're going after. If you're after the much younger, you might look at Instagram. If you're after a bit older, you might look at Pinterest. But you do need a bit of data on what each, what your target audience is.
And do you find that consumers, are they really, engaging with and following these brands on these channels?
Yes and no. Each channel is a little different. So you can get really good click-through and sales on Twitter, for example, as you can on Facebook. Pinterest, gosh, that really, it's a little bit of the unsung hero. It really is quite fantastic for the length of time that you can continue to get clicks and sales from. And the average value of somebody following one of your boards on Pinterest is actually very high. But then you've got channels like Instagram. Instagram is so easy to build thousands of followers on, but as a channel, the ability to link from your content through to your website actually isn't there.
So as a business that's either wanting to engage in social media or is already doing so, what are some sort of quick wins that they can take away from this in order to be able to boost their, say, engagement or their reach?
Yeah, I think when talking about Facebook again, I think we'll be saying that one a lot. One of the really things to keep an eye on is what day and what time you post. Okay. A really good one that you can immediately put into action is not posting in the middle of the day. So you and I, if we're updating a client's Facebook page, even for us, it's quite tempting to create the content during our work day and then put it live straight away, especially because you want to get those likes and everything. But actually, because the majority of Facebook users engage in the morning before work, in the evening either before dinner, and interestingly it's normally the guys that engage in the early evening. Us girls don't actually tend to engage as much on Facebook until later evening. Maybe we're cooking dinner, I don't know. But one of the key things is don't put your updates live during your working day. Think about your clients. Now, this is different, of course, if your clients are, I don't know, mums. Maybe if you've got, if your customers are mums who have under 5s and they're at home, for example, if they are, then you'll actually know from your own data on your own Facebook page when your fans are the most active. And if you're not looking at that data, that's obviously one of the reasons we have that as one of our modules. But at the end of the day, actually at the end of the day is when you want to do your updates. So you've got your update ready, you need to schedule that, you need to book that in, and you need to put your update live when your fans are online. And a lot of clients will say to me, but I check my Facebook page during the day, and of course we do, but what we aren't doing at that time is liking, commenting, sharing. That's stuff that you tend to do when things are a bit more chilled and you're not sneaking on your phone, you know, under the desk, or trying to eat lunch at the same time as checking Facebook, because of course we wouldn't be checking our social media during our working day. And so it's actually in the morning before work and in the afternoon. One of the reasons that's so important is that the life of a Facebook post is actually quite short. With the changes that Facebook made to their algorithm, which they did at the end of last year, if you don't get immediately, and by immediate I mean about 1 or 2 hours, so if you don't get good engagement, and by engagement it might be likes, shares, comments, clicks, if you don't get good engagement within a very short amount of time, you're actually not, that post is going to drop off your news feed. So Facebook has a potential 1,500 average updates that it could show you or I on our news feed, and those are going to be a mix of what we put on Facebook as individuals, as people, as well as what brands share. So the first cut you've got to make is Facebook picks only about 300 to make it into the news feed. So if you can make that first cut, that's great. But if you make that when your fans are not actually on Facebook and that update doesn't get any engagement, you're not only going to harm that post from being seen by your other fans and also being seen by your fans' friends, you're actually going to harm your next post as well. So they actually have consequences beyond just how that one post performs.
So really getting that day and time thing right is quite critical, or it can actually be detrimental to your future activity.
Yeah, it's just not, oh well, that that update didn't do very well. You actually have to be a lot more strategic with not only what you're going to share, but when you're going to share it.